Ready when you are.
All right, let me just hear a quick test on the mics from the two of you, please.
1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, you sound good, sir, and we're ready to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is sort of a special live broadcast of Make It Plain because there's a moment by moment breaking news, and we have a fellow veteran broadcaster and newsman here with us, here to talk about the new season of his show on Bounce. But also, we do well to get his thoughts and analysis and reflection on this breaking news of the day coming out of Vegas. Ed Gordon's here.
Good to see you,
man.
bro.
You're looking well,
Always,
brother.
man.
Yeah. So, man, this is crazy.
This is an extraordinary time we live. And I think with each generation, we think the world gets a little more violent. But I think what we're seeing now, this kind of indiscriminate violence, we don't know enough to kind of know the story. But whatever the story, it doesn't justify what this man did yesterday, last night, this morning in Vegas. And I think what we're seeing is, to some degree, to use Malcolm's term, chicks coming home to roost. I think we've laid an environment of ugliness in this country. I listened today how people are describing this, and the word terror is set aside.
Yeah.
Terror is terror, and it shouldn't be deemed terror only by virtue of who the perpetrator is.
Yeah.
And so it's an extraordinary time, and I think we have to call things as they are.
It is also, though, in the medium in which we work, one of the things that also concerns me is this news cycle. A few hours from now, we may not be talking about this anymore. And we've already today stopped talking about Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. So, I mean, what do we do about that as journalists and people with doing this type of report? I mean, I just think it's tragic when we move on.
So I think the genie's out of that bottle, unfortunately, because the world is this now, and you and I both know it. We do it. It is the immediacy of the moment, no matter the gravity of the moment. And as you say, we can move on to the next. Think about this. Houston.
Yeah.
In Florida. So Houston gets bumped.
Right.
Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Florida gets bumped.
Right.
Puerto Rico's bumped for the moment.
Yeah.
It's just the next thing, and there is no promise of coming back. And I always tell people, think about this. If Watergate were today, the break-in were today, we would never know about it. We would never, because there's no investigation.
Yeah.
There's no digging.
Right.
It would be on to the next.
It would be on to the
which
next
is
thing.
what makes Trump masterful, because if you watch him, whenever we're starting to dig into something, he always says something crazy.
You're right.
Because he knows they'll talk about this instead of what's important.
Right. The new season of your show starting up on Bounce. How's the show going, man? Going to be
show's
a big
going real well. This is episode number 4. We've been averaging about 900,000 viewers each debut episode, which is great.
Okay.
This go round, we do a profile of Maxine Waters.
Yeah.
I spent time with a congresswoman in D.C. and in L.A.
Okay.
We sit down with Steve Harvey and talk about not only his extraordinary climb to the top, but all of the problems that he's had over the course of the last 2 years. I sit with this extraordinary young lady, for fans of the sitcom Blackish, Yara Shahidi, is the teenage daughter in that show. And she is just, not only is she beautiful and smart, but she's effervescent. She's everything that you would want your child to be. And so when we talk about millennials and Generation Z or whatever they're calling them now, she really should be personification of what you want, your child to be. And I also sit down with a cat that his voice, I say, those once in a generation voices, Gregory Porter.
Yeah.
Who's just an extraordinary brother and just a great voice. And we sit and talk about him.
I'm ashamed of myself, but Gregory sat in that chair, and we did a duet, man.
Oh wow! Well,
and this man, well, I don't know what made me do it, but we, he was talking about the Nat King Cole album.
That's his new project,
and this is before it was released, and we sat here together and sang Stardust. Wow. So Gregory's something else.
Yeah, he's a kid.
Yahir, the young sister Yashir, she, you just can tell that her future, she has such a bright
She
future.
absolutely does.
ahead
It's
of
funny.
her.
That's one of the lines I use in introducing her. Yara Shahidi's parents, though, should be applauded. She's got two brothers who are also in the business, and
Okay.
her parents are in the business. Her dad's a photographer, and her mother is an actress, and helps manage her. And just the foundation they've laid for her
Yeah.
is extraordinary. And she's not taken with all of this. And at 17, you can easily be taken with all this. And she has also been afforded the opportunity to go to Harvard
Yeah.
as well.
Bright
So
young lady.
she's just on it.
Quite a bright young lady. And of course, Maxine. Now,
Maxine.
Maxine promised me that Trump will be gone by Christmas. So
Well,
what do you think?
I think that's her want. She's pushing impeachment. I ask her
Yeah.
on what grounds. You know, people get angry and say, "Oh, we need to impeach him," but you just can't impeach a president.
Yeah.
There's got to be a reason, and even with that reason, it's not easy. And then if you look at the numbers in the Senate and in the House, that's going to be a hard road to hoe. But it's extraordinary to listen to her. And I want to make sure, and we talk about this, that we don't trivialize Maxine Waters for her
No.
fight, not just against Trump, but I'm proud that millennials and young people are finding her.
Yeah.
But if you buy into that Auntie Maxine thing and reclaim my time too much, it almost makes her pop iconish, but not who she is, and that's an important
Yeah.
figure on the political scene.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
want to make sure that people are careful about that.
Yeah.
We talk about the vitriol that she gets from the right daily. Man, I was shocked
Yeah.
what I see on social media about her. And then Steve talks about his infamous visit with then President-elect Trump. He talks about the memo that so many people heard about, the staff memo about not coming up to me. He talks about the gossip columns. He talks about his statement about
Wow.
Flint.
Wow.
So he's very upfront and very candid.
Does he regret going to see
Yes.
Trump now? He does. Okay.
Now he does.
Yeah.
And you know, his explanation is plausible. I don't know that you have to agree with it, but if you're a fair thinking person, you coming out of his explanation would probably say, all right, I can see where you thought about that. I said to him, look, man, if you had simply told people you received this invitation, you're going to go up and check out what this guy's talking about, and I'll come back on my radio show and
Yeah.
report it to you
Right,
tomorrow,
right, right.
nobody's mad at you.
Right.
It was that all of a sudden you showed up,
Yeah.
and then to say he was congenial, and I think that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But he doesn't run from it. And his explanation, as I said, is plausible. I don't know that everybody's going to buy it,
Right.
but it's plausible.
Ed Gordon with us, folks, and again, we're actually live. We were going to pre-record this interview there on Make It Plain in the morning, but because of all the breaking news, we decided to go on live on our social media as you're watching on YouTube and Facebook, and also to get Ed Gordon's live reaction, because by tomorrow morning, everything today, as we said, will be old news. We'll probably have more information on the shooter in the morning. And then unfortunately, I think we kind of know the script from then on. We had a conversation on the air this morning on the show about, you know, what is the last straw? We thought Newtown, Sandy Hook would be the last straw. Each time we think there's a last straw, but it's never the last straw. And I, you know, it crossed my mind this morning because some have said, even those who are Second Amendment supporters, gun owners, need to take a stand. But here's what happens. By the time we get around the midterms, people aren't voting on one issue.
No.
So even well-meaning, responsible gun owners vote on Obamacare repeal versus, am I going to vote for this guy who's in the pocket of the NRA lobby?
And lest we forget Charlton Heston and his stance at the NRA that day
Right.
to say you're going to have to pry this
Yeah.
from my cold dead hands.
Right.
There are people who will go down
Yeah.
believing that Second Amendment should allow for the ridiculous nature of people and the ease you can get with semi-assault rifles.
Yeah.
And what this nation is a nation that's afraid to stay with an argument.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we let people co-opt an argument.
Yeah.
So this will become something else other than what it probably is, and that is mental health, which
Yeah.
we never deal with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because say what you will, terrorist or not, there's a problem in that Mandalay Bay hotel room with that man from a mental standpoint.
Yeah, no question about it. No question about
And we don't deal with that.
Yeah.
Nor do we deal with the idea of let's hash this thing out until we get it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't let it fall back, as we say.
I hope you would approve of something I did a few years ago when the Aurora Theater shooting happened. I wrote an article in Uptown Magazine about how the myth of black on black violence endangers white folk because it makes them think we're the only ones who do this. Then you get Vegas in the past 25. This is so-called white on white. So there's no such thing as black on black, white on white. And so what do you do with that? And as you said, are we going to deal with the mental health? Are we going to deal with those issues? This is a white dude shooting up more white people than ever before in history.
What it becomes, though, is the perception that the media gives. So, for instance, this has not been deemed terrorism. Right. This being a white male will not impugn the rest of the white male population in America.
True that. Yeah.
If this were a person of Middle Eastern descent, it would impugn all Middle Easterners. Had this been a brother in the window, oh, there go those black men again, right?
Yeah.
But this is now a lone wolf, crazy white guy, and that's the way they'll paint him.
Yeah.
And they'll leave him as if he's different than everybody else.
Yeah.
As opposed to what we normally see. And that is one representing the masses.
Yeah. Yeah. Ed Gordon, folks, and folks, we do this rarely. We go live in the middle of the day when we're not even on the radio. But we wanted to have, especially because it is Ed. Premiere date is
tonight at 10.
So yeah, we need to do this.
Yeah,
now. For sure. So tonight at 10 o'clock, Bounce TV.
Bounce TV tonight at 10. Yara Shahidi from Blackish, Gregory Porter, fantastic singer.
Oh yeah.
Maxine Waters, Congresswoman, and who I say is maybe the first and frontline warrior against Trump, and Steve Harvey.
Yeah. So this will be great, folks. And be sure to check your local listings for your channel, for your cable provider for Bounce TV. Congratulations, my brother.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you for
Always
coming in.
Good
Always good
to
to see you too, man. Looking well too, man. Ed Gordon, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, join us back live with more coverage. Actually, on our channel all day, there's coverage of what's going on in Vegas, continuing live coverage on all across the SiriusXM platform. Stay tuned. And also join us tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Eastern for Make It Plain. Thank you all, and thanks to Ed Gordon. Take care. All righty.